Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Civilization 3 Complete. My name is Bloodbath169, and in our last episode, we finally advanced into the Industrial Age. We finished out the Middle Ages, and we've entered the Industrial Age. Our cities are doing very well, and we are currently en route to getting one of the most important resources that we will need. And if I can locate it here, it would be hidden from me, naturally enough. It's probably looking me right in the face, and I just cannot see it. And specifically, what I'm looking for is our source of iron, which we desperately need. It's up here, right there. So we are gonna. Thankfully, Syracuse grew quickly, so that way we can get access to iron. And once we've hooked it up and hooked Syracuse up to the rest of the nation, which we're working on right now, as you can see, then we will start filling up every last available space of our empire, of our territory, with railroads, which increase the efficiency of literally everything. And not only that, but they allow our units to instantaneously move between the tiles. Other than that, it takes, without using any movement points. And without those, it will take one movement point for every square with a road on it. It will take one movement point to move 3 tiles. Otherwise, it's kind of a long process. So anyway, let's get back to it. Okay, Phokea, you're going to do your Coliseum. You did a worker. I see your other ones up there, so let's do Library. Apolloton was, no, this was one we put in. I couldn't remember off the top of my head, because I do flip-flop between games while I'm doing. Okay, so it looks like the Byzantines and the Iroquois are at war. That's something we're going to have to keep an eye on, because we definitely do not want to get caught between those two. So we'll do courthouses in these two. Now, here soon, not shortly before these guys finish their courthouses, it will be a moot point, because the Forbidden Palace will be done. And as I explained in the last episode, that acts like a second palace, which greatly reduces, kind of like a second capital, it really reduces corruption around the cities. And of course now we can irrigate anywhere, because we researched electricity, which allows us to do that. You no longer need a source of fresh water. So to say that that's invaluable would be a bit of an understatement. Electronics. And with that, we gain access to civil defense, which improves 50% defensive bonuses. They can only be built in a city with a barracks, but of course every city we have has a barracks thanks to Sun Tzu's Art of War. We can also build the hydro plant, increases factory output by 50% and no pollution. It has to have a river within its radius. And of course we get Hoover Dam, which brings the effects of a hydro plant to all cities. Funny story, it does bring the effects, but it doesn't bring the requirement, or those cities can then still do another, so do sanitation. They can still do another thing there, a power plant of their own. They're not restricted to just that power plant. So let's go ahead and do civil defense. Our income is going to drop precipitously because we're switching everything over to civil defense. not as necessary for defense purposes, because we're not at war with anybody and nobody is really currently seeking one with us that we know of. How can we help you grow? We can help by actually putting your people to work. We're going to do civil defense. We're ahead of everybody else around us, technology-wise. Regardless of the fog of war, you can tell that the Incans are still in the Middle Ages, as are the Byzantines, as are the Zulu. We are the only ones in the industrial era, and so far, as far as I've seen, and so far, we're going to keep that lead as best as we can anyway. Okay, Coliseum, go ahead and do your civil defense. Aqueduct, boom. Do your marketplace. Library, do your courthouse. Okay, let's do Hoover Dam in Athens. Bank, aqueduct. That way they can continue to grow. Okay, so now we can do hospitals, which will allow our cities to grow past population 12. We're going to go ahead and make a beeline for tanks, which means we're going to get these 8 technologies automatically. Starting with industrialization, which gives us access to the factory. And now we're going to switch over and do hospitals. Love our achievements. That's super duper dude. Okay, just transferred one city back to wealth. There it is, Troy. Do your hospital. Okay. My apologies. I know I've got a worker, a big strong worker moving through your area. Oops, not the palace. Click on what I actually click on. Civil defense, hospital, entertainment, man. Okay. Rifleman, no. Hospital. 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 Japanese having it. Quest territory, sure. Tokugawa. Okay, now we're switching back to wealth. Hospital. Wealth. To the hospital there. You go ahead and start your hospital. You'll need it momentarily. Okay, battlefield medicine. Now this is an important one, and it's only available after you have at least 5 hospitals, and it allows military units to heal in enemy territory, which previously was impossible. We would have had to move the injured units back behind our border, or at minimum into a neutral area, in order to have them actually be useful. Let's put you there. Courthouse. Hey, let's do marketplace. Back to wealth. Refining, and that will, now we have access to the stock exchange, And stock exchange actually is a very nice technology. And let's go ahead and do our workers here. Rifleman. So stock exchange. Refining, and with that we get access to oil. Next up is going to be steel. Let's see. Okay, you didn't need a rifleman. What did you need? Stock exchange, probably. Well, we just wasted time in that city, unfortunately. There's your first worker. I'll build your second one. Switching back over to wealth, now the stock exchanges are done. And you're really going to start seeing that income just shoot up with all the stock exchanges going in. Hospital, stock exchange, marketplace, university. Wrote that, wrote that. Forbidden Palace. Give similar benefits to the palace, but still suffer some corruption. By building the Forbidden Palace, you also increase the optimal number of cities for your civilization to have. This amount is relative to map size, difficulty, and current government choices, cumulative with Secret Police HQ. Wall Street. Alright. Treasury begins earning 5% interest every turn with a max of cap of 50 gold a turn. Must have at least 5 stock exchanges. Okay. Combustion, we just got steel. Steel, was that unlocked? Okay, not diddly. Combustion it is. And, oops, misclick. Stock exchange, back to wealth. They'll want their hospital. You will too. Bank. Marketplace. Marketplace. Americans want to get democracy for economics. That's a good deal. And we just completed Hoover Dam. Okay. Universal suffrage. That one. Okay, clear. Okay, combustion. That gives us access to cruisers, destroyers, and transports. Okay. Aqueduct, see, we can keep growing. Let's do your temple. Stock exchange. Let's do your civil defense. Byzantines want territory for economics, that's fine. Battlefield medicine. Just stock exchanges going up left, right, and center. Okay, so we need to, we're still working on replaceable parts. That allows us to upgrade. It puts a rubber on the map. Workers work twice as fast, and I can create civil engineers to instead of just entertainment. And I should, if I have rubber, be able to upgrade all my riflemen to infantry. We finished Wall Street. Wall Street does our interest. Okay. So that's all for wealth. Temple. Yeah, Coliseum. Alright, there's our first instance of pollution. Alright. Now we could go ahead and, especially now that we're getting stronger, we could, in theory, go ahead and start building up military and doing all that. But in doing so, we actually kind of start undermining ourselves a little bit. So let's go ahead and increase up to 90% for science. But anyway, so we're back, and we could go ahead. Our economy is doing very well, despite what you see here. 90% of our income is now going to science. So definitely worth that. I'm not sure how long it didn't ding when it stopped recording this time, so I have no idea how much I just lost. Anyway, so we're still working to get that iron hooked up. We're also working to get a source of rubber hooked up. Which they are both immensely close. This was the rubber, and iron is actually hooked up to Syracuse, but Syracuse is not hooked up to anywhere else. So we've got a bunch of workers to head this way and clear all this and connect it up. And then we have this guy working between these two. Now we're also keeping an eye on Constantinople here, or the Byzantines, because they have military units hovering around Apollonia. Something to keep an eye on. Iroquois have requested an audience, sure. They want territory maps and magnetism. That's fine. I don't have a territory map for you yet. Do theory of evolution and then start the hospital. University. Marketplace. Go ahead and do temple. Complete its library, then the aqueduct. Mass production, which gives us access to commercial docks for coastal cities. It also gives us access to the battleship, carrier, and submarine, provided we have oil, which we do. And then motorized transportation. Troy has pollution. Okay. Let's go ahead and do harbor. They need their aqueduct, expansion to a palace. Let's just do the accent one there. Entertainment. this one now has the coal and iron hooked up to it somewhere, and it can start a factory. Wealth. Temple. Let's do your hospital. Oh, move my troops out, Theodora. I mean, those workers are just such an existential threat to you. Holy jumping Jehoshaphat. Accidentally skipped in. Okay, yes, let's go ahead and do flight. Advanced flight's not necessary. Neither is amphibious war. Neither are ironclads. Ironclads are obsolete for me now. And communism isn't important. I have no intention of being at war, which gives us the police station. I would never do a communist state, ever, for any reason. Same goes with fascism. And we also have an espionage, but we're not really having a hostile game so far, so why bother? Okay, so factories are available now, which tells me it is time to start down here and start putting in those factories and really turn our nation into an industrial powerhouse. Of course, as soon as we do this too, as soon as a lot of these get built, we're going to be cleaning up pollution left, right, and center until we get some of the more modern technologies that might help reduce that. But pollution is an inevitable aspect of being in the modern century. Okay, just to double check. Okay, the Incans are now in the industrial era. Japanese are not. They are not. Iroquois are. Okay. Back to the workers. Irrigate. Okay. Now, the reason that's always a good idea to clean up pollution as fast as humanly possible is because as long as pollution is on the tile, you get no benefit from that tile, no matter how many people you have working it. So, always a benefit to get it done and get it done quickly. Another hospital. Build you a factory. University. Okay. Marketplace. Pollution strikes Megara. And with that, our historians agree we have entered the modern era. Let's play the game. Okay, where do we want to go here? Well, let's first of all make a beeline for recycling. That will give us, for those cities that can do a hydro plant, we already have the ability. For those that do not have a hydro plant, that will give them that will give them the ability to do a solar plant. Everything we can do to reduce pollution at this point is a good thing. The SETI program. Let's do factory. Do our pillars there. Scientific leader. Well, let's increase scientific output in our civilization. Entered an age of scientific discovery. The Zulu have requested an audience. They want a world map. That's fine. Who is over there? Have them do the SETI program, which doubles our research in each city, in that city again. Okay, you're going to do a commercial dock. Commercial docks, factories, I'll get into that too. Commercial docks, let me make sure I'm actually recording. I am. Commercial docks cause the city in which is built to produce one extra commerce in every water square that already produces one. It can only be built in coastal cities and only in a city that has a harbor. Factories actually increase shield production by 50%. Power plant in the same city increases the bonus, and factories do produce pollution. Research labs. Let's do the airport. It's time for our air defense to start taking shape. Factory. Let's see, aqueduct. Temple. Factory. Commercial dock next. Commercial dock. Research lab. Marketplace. I'm going to tell the Byzantines, get out. And yes, I am aware that I am losing gold. I'm not that worried about it, to be honest. I don't really use gold for much of anything. Doesn't hurt me to lose it, because I'm boosting my the one thing. I'm boosting it. Let's see, factory. The one thing that causes it, I should say. Okay, let's do synthetic fibers. Recycling centers are now available, so that's always a good thing. Recycling centers reduce pollution due to city improvements like factories. And power plants, of course. Let's do your solar plant. And this is probably going to be about where we wrap up, because this has been going on for a while now. I really have not been watching the time like I should have. Sadly, not the most exciting episode, but important. As far as building it, infrastructure goes, very important. Okay, we just got synthetic fibers. Big picture. Let's go for genetics here. Well, no. Let's do the majority and hit all of these. Rocketry should be first. We've mastered the secrets of fission. And on to rocketry. Do your hospital. Solar plant. Now we do want to make sure that we are the ones who control the United Nations, because otherwise another nation could easily slip in under us and declare themselves victor. But we're not yet in danger of anybody getting to that just yet, so we're not in a rush. We're going to finish up our build up and move forward from there. Put a road there. Okay. We're going to do one more turn, which is the mantra for this game, and then we're going to call it good for today. So we have solar plants still going in. Mass transit systems we can now start putting in too. Mass transits reduce pollution caused by high population. Populations over 12, basically. Solar plant. Recycling center. Aqueduct. Do your courthouse. All right. Well, that's going to be it for today's episode. So, thank you everybody for tuning in for today's episode. We made a lot of progress as far as infrastructure goes. All are hard to believe it, but we are in the modern age, and not every city has been hooked up. Of course, we do have accelerated production on, and that does make a difference. In our next playthrough or next game, we probably will not do that, because that way, it is actually a full game. It's unreal that we are in the modern era, and it's only 1430. I may leave it on though and just increase the difficulty. We'll just have to kind of see where we go. So thank you everybody for tuning in for today's episode. If you like the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you have feedback, please leave a comment. And if you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe and check out any of my other videos that any of the other series I'm currently working on. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next episode. See ya!